Hello, I'm Dr. Koh Lam Son. I'm a consultant specialist in gynecology and regenerative medicine in Singapore. My major interest is in stem cell medicine and anti-aging medicine. I'm also director of the Rejuvenation Wellness Center in Singapore. I chaired the first Asian conference on the science of aging and regenerative medicine in 2008, organized by the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Havana Private Limited, based in Australia. I'm consultant of the Havana Wellness Confinement Center. Today we will talk about stem cells and a very special stem cells called the mesenchymal stem cell. So aging is getting the attention today because we are all aging rather unhealthily. So what is aging? Aging is the body deteriorating, leading to weakness and diseases. We fear losing our memory, our energy, eyesight, hearing, hair loss, tooth decay, our balance, physical endurance, and our appearance. And as time goes on, we worry about losing our will to live. Now, but we do have a solution today in the stem cell therapy. Because stem cell therapy can provide total body rejuvenation from head to toe. It can restore our youthfulness of the face. It can retain body stamina, our balance, and cover well-being and overall well-being. It can reduce the risk of many chronic diseases. So let's start by finding out more of what is a stem cell. Now, our body is made up of many different types of cells. Altogether, there are 200 over different types of cells. There's the brain cells, there's the liver cells, there's the skin cells, kidney cells, etc. In the male, there's a special cell, we call it the sperm cell. And in the female, there's a special cell called the egg cell. When these two merge together in the process called fertilization, the first stem cell is created. And this stem cell will continue to grow and develop into a new individual. Now, stem cell has got two fundamental properties. First, the stem cell can duplicate itself, it can renew itself forever. There are many stem cells in our body, and they can continue to duplicate itself for the rest of our life. And if you put these cells in the laboratory, it can continue to duplicate, multiply itself indefinitely. The second fundamental property of stem cells is that stem cell can differentiate or convert itself into all the types of cells in the body. And it does so in three primary germ layers: the mesoderm, ectoderm, and endoderm. Each of these germ layers would differentiate into the different types of cells, respectively, in our body. For example, the ectoderm will differentiate into skin cells and neuron cells. Now, how does one cell become a whole body with all the different types of cells? So first, when the first stem cell, the fertilized egg, start to grow, after 4 to 5 days, it forms a cyst. We call it the blastocyst. And in the cyst, there's an inner mass of cells. We call that the stem cells. Sorry, the embryonic stem cells. Now, the embryonic stem cells can differentiate into every type of cells in the body. So we call that pluripotent. And these cells have been isolated by Professor James Thomson in 1998. And he found that when he placed the cells on the Petri dish in the lab, these cells can continue to divide indefinitely. The second type of stem cells is what we call the adult stem cells. This is developed from the embryonic stem cells. And these stem cells can differentiate into all the different cells in our body. And so these are the stem cells that are now available for use for our therapy. There's a third type of stem cell called the induced pluripotent stem cell. These cells are not found naturally in our body. These cells is actually created in the lab by Dr. Shinya Yamanaka in 2006. So this is a big discovery in stem cell research. So I will talk a bit about this later. The cells that we are interested in for our stem cell therapy is called the mesenchymal stem cell. So mesenchymal cell is an adult stem cell. It is multipotent, so it's not as potent as the embryonic cells, embryonic stem cells, which is pluripotent. Now, why do we need stem cells, right? We need stem cells because our cells are dying every day. 60 billion cells die every day. And almost our whole body has to be replaced by stem cell every 7 to 10 years. So our procreation depends on the existence of stem cells. So with aging, the stem cells become deficient in our body, in every tissues, in every organ. And that's why we are going through this process of weakening and deterioration. So if you look at the lifespan of the stem cells in the body, you will find that the cells that live different lifespan. For example, the intestinal cells, it live only for 5 days. And the blood cells live only for 7 days. So all these have to be replaced by stem cells. The liver cells will live for 2 to 3 years. Now, if you look at the total number of cells we have in the body, when we were born, we have about 30 trillion cells. Then we start to multiply cells. We have plenty of stem cells in our body, and we are in the growth phase. So in the number of stem cells increases to up to 60 to 100 trillion cells when we are in our teenage and adulthood. When we go into the middle age, the stem cells start to decline. And from 60 to 100 million, it came down to about 50 million. And then when we are old, the number of cells dropped to 40 trillion, which is about the same amount that we had when we were a toddler. So where do we get the stem cell for our therapy? Well, we can get it from the embryo, the 4 to 5 days old embryo. We can get it from tissues in the adult. We can get it from the umbilical cord. We can get it from bone marrow, from adipose tissue, and also from the induced pluripotent stem cells. Now, for the embryo stem cell, the problem with embryo stem cells is that we obtain this from the eggs of unused eggs in the IVF lab. And there is an ethical issue about this. There are people who believe that this is unethical. It's an offense to human dignity to destroy a potential life. So President George Bush in 2006 actually stopped the major funding for the research of embryonic stem cells. So embryonic stem cells are actually very potent, and they can also change into cancer cells. So this is another risk that we face that makes stem cells not suitable for use for therapy. So currently, embryonic stem cells are used for research only. Now, pluripotent stem cells. Induced pluripotent cell is not found naturally in our body. So Dr. Shinya Yamanaka in 2016, he was able to carry out a genetic reprogramming to change an adult stem cells into a stem cell that resembles like an embryonic stem cell. That means it's pluripotent. So this is very interesting, and this is a big success in stem cell research, because now we got the cell that's capable of turning or differentiating into any other cells in the body. and without any ethical problem. However, this research is still new, and until its safety is proven, it is not currently used for stem cell therapy. So the source of stem cell therapy, in this case, is the mesenchymal stem cell therapy that are available for stem cell therapy from the umbilical cord, from the bone marrow, and from the adipose tissue. So what are the other unique properties of stem cells that we need to know? So first, there is this stemness of the stem cell. Stemness refers to the power of the stem cells to continue to multiply itself, cell renewal, or to differentiate into the different types of cells. So different types of stem cells from different sources have different power of stemness. The second property is plasticity. Plasticity is the potential to change into other types of cells. Example, a stem cell has ability to change into a brain cell, to an immune cell, and so on. This is another property that we look at when we are using stem cells for therapy. Third is this called homing in. Homing in is the ability of the stem cell to go to the site where there is damaged tissue or damaged cells. So when we inject mesenchymal stem cells into the body, the stem cells will be distributed everywhere. But at the same time, the stem cell can detect the area that is most needed for stem cell replacement, and it will divert itself to that area. In the case of gynecological disorder, the mesenchymal stem cells from bone marrow are particularly diverted to the endometrium of the uterus, because the stem cells in the endometrium of the uterus share the same origin as the bone-derived mesenchymal stem cells. They have the same surface antigen. The fourth property of stem cell is what we call engraftment. Engraftment is the ability of the stem cell to merge with the local cell at the point where they have arrived. So this is another important property that stem cells have in order to survive in the host tissues. Now we talk a bit now about mesenchymal stem cell. Now mesenchymal stem cells have been used very widely over many years and is known to be safe and effective. Mesenchymal stem cells come under multipotent stem cells. So they are potent. They can form any cells in the body. So there is also very high stemness, ability to duplicate itself, and ability to differentiate to many types of stem cells. That's why it's being used so widely. Mesenchymal stem cells also is good at moving to the parts that needed the stem cells. In particular, mesenchymal stem cell from bone marrow, as I explained earlier, is good for gynecological disorder because it's very good at homing in into the uterus. Mesenchymal stem cells are also very anti-inflammatory, which treats the chronic inflammation that's associated with unhealthy aging. Mesenchymal stem cell is an immune modulator. This means that the mesenchymal stem cell has a very positive effect on our immune system, so that our body will not react. So there is no host reaction to the stem cells. Not only that, the mesenchymal stem cell can regulate our immune system, can restore our immune system to its normal function. So it's good for autoimmune diseases. And mesenchymal stem is very safe. It does not, like the embryonic stem cell, lead to any tumor formation. So what are the criteria we use to select the mesenchymal stem cells? So basically, mesenchymal stem cells are from two sources. One, it can come from your own body. And two, it has to be from a donor. From your own body, it is good, the best if you are still young and your stem cells are still young. But as you get older, as in the case of many clients, patients with chronic diseases, the stem cells are already aging like any other cells in the body, and therefore it will lose its stemness, it will lose its homing, it will lose its capacity to rejuvenate and to heal the tissues. So this is only drawback about the autologous stem cells. So now we use mainly from donors mesenchymal stem cells. The way we choose to the type of donor stem cell that we use is number one, that the stem cell come from a young, healthy donor. So these cells will all be, stem cells will all be very healthy. Also, in the process of extraction and in the process of cultivation and the banking of the stem cell, it must be done in the best laboratory, a GMP laboratory. The most important thing about this stem cell when you are storing them is, of course, the culture medium. The culture medium is like food for the stem cell. So many laboratories have different culture medium. So if you have good culture medium, you will have good and healthy stem cells. The number of passage is that when you start to cultivate the cells will keep growing. And at one stage, you have to remove it and do another colony. So when you start a second colony, you're passing through one passage. So you do not want to pass through too many passages because that will also affect the quality of the stem cells. And of course, during the transfer of the stem cells from the lab to the recipient, the medium that the stem cell is carried in, the temperature, etc., must be very well managed. And lastly, before you inject the stem cell, you must have proof that your stem cells are still alive and of the best quality. So, what's the problem with our aging? That we require stem cell therapy. Now, if you look at the lifespan living in a modern society and with very unhealthy lifestyle, you will find that the healthy lifespan will only last for 50 years. After that, we're actually leading a sick life. We have one disorder, chronic disorder, or another. That is high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, arthritis, and so on. And our lifespan lasts for about 80 years or so. Now, with stem cell therapy and leading a healthy life, we hope to achieve a healthier, longer lifespan. Okay, so we hope to improve from 50 to 60 and to beyond. So mesenchymal stem cell is therefore used for wellness and for anti-aging. And it's also used for the treatment of chronic diseases. Now, this therapy is considered safe because it has been used for the last 20 years without any side effect. And it is both good for anti-aging and for the treatment of chronic diseases. Thousands of clients have gone through this therapy around the world, and there's no reported side effect. So, mesenchymal stem cells have also been shown in study to be able to improve substantially, if not cure, many chronic diseases. And it has been shown that it is safe and it can be used for practically any disease. In fact, it has been tested with many, many diseases. And generally, it has been found to be positive. And it has been found to be positive, and that it has varying results, sometimes very, very good results. So here are some of the diseases that have been treated successfully with stem cells, like allergies, high blood pressure, brain injury, eye disorder, diabetes, erectile dysfunction, hair treatment, heart diseases, kidney diseases, liver diseases, multiple sclerosis, orthopedic disorder, skin rejuvenation, and stroke. So these are just some of the diseases that have been treated successfully with mesenchymal stem cell. So mesenchymal stem cell have made the blind see, the paralyzed can walk, the autistic children become normal kids, and the osteoarthritis patient can run again, Parkinson patient stop shaking and walk normally, and diabetic is weaned off insulin. So this is something so miraculous. That's why stem cell is so popular today. So for diabetes, we can use mesenchymal stem cells either by injecting into the vein or through a special intra-arterial cannula. We can pass the cannula up to the pancreas and inject it right into the pancreas to influence the beta insulin secreting stem cells. So the stem cells injected into the diabetic not only improve the blood sugar level, but the whole body. So the whole body undergoes total rejuvenation as well as treating the diabetes. So here is a patient who had treatment with stem cells, 66-year-old man who was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So for 3 years, his glucose have increased rapidly, but after going through the bone-derived mesenchymal stem cell treatment, his glucose level started to normalize. Mesenchymal stem cell has been treated for stroke. There are many studies done on stroke, and the results have been good. And it is good to treat them during the early stage, especially when it is an advanced stroke. So here's a case of the 92-year-old patient with ischemic stroke, and he was paralyzed in his left leg, and a single intravenous infusion of K-bone marrow-derived mesenchymal stem cell resulted in increased sensitivity in his left leg, and after 2 months of the procedure. So with more injection, the condition can improve until he may be able to walk again. Mesenchymal stem cell for heart disease has also been around for a long time, and in fact, in certain countries, it has been established as a accepted treatment for heart disease. So the stem cell can be used by injecting directly to the injured heart muscle or into the affected coronary artery. And the tissue scaffold, you can have a tissue scaffold with mesenchymal stem cell, and they can be used directly during open heart surgery. Now, mesenchymal stem cell for anti-aging is well known, and the results are also very obvious. People who have gone through this stem cell, even after one treatment, they have more energy, they lose some fat, and they have a firmer body. The aches and pains relieve, and the sleep is getting better. The repair and regeneration of all body system, the skin rejuvenate, younger face, less wrinkle and pigmentation, together with healthy lifestyle, become healthier, younger, and stronger, and to reduce of the risk of chronic diseases. These are the other things that happen to ladies. They have a younger face, they have better skin, they have greater libido, more energy, they have overall general wellness, and so on and so forth. So here's two ladies. On the left is when you are growing older. On the left, you're actually growing younger. There's an old man of 84, a typical case of accelerated aging, probably already demented. And here's a case of a rejuvenated 84-year-old, same age, but look at the difference of the rejuvenation that has taken place. Here's a 54-year-old patient who had intravenous infusion of K-bone marrow-derived mesenchymal stem cells. And you can see very obviously he has rejuvenated in the last 10 years. Now, stem cells and all adult cells, they all need support at the cellular level. So although stem cells give you very good results, but for the longer sustainability, you need more than stem cells. So stem cells become part of an anti-aging program. So we need to look at the cell, whether it's your existing cell or stem cell that you injected in, what happened to the cells? What do you need to nourish this cell, to keep these cells healthy, so that this cell can multiply more times and can sustain longer? So one of the things that happen is that there is a lack of energy because the cells are working all the time. So this is one area we have to look at. There's dehydration because simply we do not drink enough water and we don't drink the right type of water. There is this free radical attack in the body that goes on all the time, and this causes damage to the cells, and this is the underlying cause of accelerated aging and many chronic diseases. There's this silent chronic inflammation going on in our body because of our unhealthy lifestyle, because of the metabolism in our body, and this is part of the cause of many problems, health problems we have. And the toxins that gathered in our body, and also the lack of proper nutrients because we are not eating the right diet, are also problems that our cells face. And if we have stem cells, they will also face the same problem. And also because there is not enough stem cells in our body to replace the cells that's been damaged and lost, and that's why we need stem cells injection. So for lack of energy, we can have oxygen. We can breathe in more oxygen. We can have hydrogen. Hydrogen is energy. It's also a powerful antioxidant. We have enough good water. We have enough antioxidants, and we have growth hormones that can activate our stem cells. That's also anti-inflammatory. We have good nutrients, and we have active stem cell replacement. So here's an example of a rejuvenation program with stem cells. So first you have a wellness consultation that look at the causes of your accelerated aging. Then our treatment will include, in addition to stem cells, the hydrogen, either dissolved hydrogen water or hydrogen gas, which is a powerful form of antioxidant and also a form of energy. You need good nutrients, and the nutrients that I have is directed at the stem cells. In the first one, cell region 1, is a natural medicine that activate stem cells. So when you have stem cells in your body, after your stem cell treatment, this will help the stem cell to grow, to have strong anti-inflammatory effect, and also to activate the stem cells in the body. The second one, cell region 2, is a telomerase enzyme. It's a natural medicine. This will help the cell to last longer and to have a healthy lifespan. Then we need to talk about the hormone decline in your body. So the decline in your growth hormone, in your female hormone, in your male hormone, in other hormones need to be replaced to maintain the health of the cells. Exercise is very important. Apart from having regular exercise, we also recommend that you have exercise on the vibration plate. When you have exercise on the vibration plate, there is a physiological effect. Even it will actually activate stem cells and also support the stem cells that you have injected. Last and not least, you need to have your stem cell therapy, and that will complete the picture of total rejuvenation. Let me now play a video of someone who has received the stem cell therapy.
My name is Koh Lam Son. I'm 65, coming to 66, and I was born in Malaysia. Now live in Singapore. I do a business in building houses. Mr. Tan is my friend for many years.
We know each other since army time, or 40 odd years ago.
So how's things?
Okay.
I always share with him my medical results. Since my younger age, I have the three high cholesterol, high triglyceride, high blood. Besides having the three high, I have asthma, very often breathless. My health was deteriorating. I didn't know what to do. I live with my family, my wife and the 4 daughters. I treasure them and I love them very much. I want to be healthy, to be with them. I researched from the internet and I found the Kintaro cell. I started my first treatment in 2015. I saw significant improvement to my health. The three high, which I mentioned, came down back to normal level. The lung is a lot stronger than before. And when I go to the construction site, I could climb stairs, easily. A lot of energy that I have. If you're healthy, you look good, which I am now. I'm very happy with it. So I have been with Kintaro cell for 3.5 years. I've introduced Mr. Tan the same Kintaro cell, and he also has gained a lot of advantage from it.
I had my first injection in 2015. The first 2 weeks, I suddenly woke up in the middle of the night. I never experienced sort of erections, in early morning, and it was a very strong erection, which is never occurred to me that it can happen again. I see men sometimes very haggard, and they also complain. I'm satisfied with my erection in the sense that I feel young. My health state is still in a good shape, and this is very more important.
Well, I feel damn great now, with that treatment that I have. I feel very confident that I know I'm going to live a lot longer than a lot of people.
It can actually help, and I hope that this theory can be a way to keep alive and healthy for a long time.
With such wonderful results, I shall continue to have Kintaro cell.
So I've come to the end of my talk on stem cells, and I hope you have a better understanding of what stem cells are and what can they do for you. And I hope you will think about having a healthy lifestyle and think about your aging as you go along, and to include stem cell as part of the therapy for an anti-aging life. So if you have any questions, any comments you'd like to make, please let me know. Thank you.